Okay, the time is nearing 6 p.m. Do we have sound, everyone?
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
can hear you.
Mhm. Okay, for anyone uh, waiting, we are about to begin. I saw that Chris raised his hand. I assume that's for comments later. Okay, the time appears to be 6 p.m. Welcome to the Georgia EPD public meeting on the Plant McDonough Ash Pond 1 draft closure post-closure care permit. In accordance with EPD's public participation policy and to enable remote participation, EPD is hosting this public meeting via Zoom. Zoom is a free web conferencing platform that also allows for participation by phone. We're still getting set up, so thank you for your patience as we prepare for the public meeting. Please note that all web participants are joining in mute-only mode and can only be unmuted by the host. If you're joining on the web platform, we ask that you please do not turn on your video so that it doesn't interfere with our recording of the meeting. Also, please rename yourself to your first and last name as you want it to be logged in the public record. Comments will be accepted after the presentation on the proposed permit is completed. You may then list your name and affiliation in the chat window to indicate that you would like to make a comment during today's meeting. Further instructions will be provided after the presentation, and we will be saving the transcripts of the chat dialog box for our records. So, officially, welcome to the public meeting for the proposed draft permit for Plant McDonough Ash Pond 1 closure. If you'd like to make comments, please keep the chat window open. After the presentation, there will be an option for you to list your name and affiliation to indicate that you would like to make a comment during today's meeting. Further instructions will be provided after the presentation. We will be saving the transcripts of the chat dialog box for our records. At this time, I'll turn it over to William Cook, manager of the Solid Waste Management Program.
Good afternoon and welcome to this public meeting. My name is William Cook and I am the program manager of the Solid Waste Management Program in Georgia EPD's Land Protection Branch. Today we are hosting this public meeting via Zoom. Again, Zoom is a free web conferencing platform that also allows participation by computer and phone. Today's date is Tuesday, May the 5th, 2026, and the time now is 6:02 p.m. The purpose of this meeting is to take comments on the proposed draft permit for Plant McDonough's Ash Pond 1 closure. The draft permit is being evaluated for permitting by the Environmental Protection Division. During this presentation, we will give a brief summary of the McDonough Ash Pond 1 and the draft permit for closure post-closure care, including the location and status of McDonough's Ash Pond 1, the regulations governing the closure and post-closure care, draft permit conditions for the closure and post-closure care, links to additional information, and options for providing comments for the remainder of the comment period. Following the presentation, we will hear comments. Before we begin with the specifics on McDonough Ash Pond 1, it may be helpful to define some of the terms and acronyms used in today's presentation. One of those terms is coal combustion residuals, or CCR, and it's a regulatory term for coal ash. Another is surface impoundment. It means a natural topographic depression, man-made excavation, or diked area designed to hold CCR and liquids. Groundwater Monitoring Plan is shortened in this presentation as GWMP. This plan provides information on groundwater monitoring system, including well locations and sampling frequency. NOI, or Notice of Intent, is shortened in this presentation again as NOI, and NOI is a letter from the owner notifying EPD of intended actions. AEM is Advanced Engineering Method and refers to additional methods used to help support the closure system. So for details related to McDonough, Plant McDonough is located in Smyrna in Cobb County, Georgia. It does consist of 390 acres. Ash Pond 1 itself, as you can see there on the bottom of that picture, Was operational is 25 acres and was operational from 1963 to 1968. The total volume of ash is 1.4 million cubic yards. The final cover construction was completed for that surface impoundment in 2017. Now, related to the regulations that affect CCR surface impoundments, McDonough Ash Pond 1 is regulated by the Georgia CCR regulations in Section .10 of the Solid Waste Management Rules, Chapter 391-3-4. The federal CCR rules are incorporated into the Georgia rules. The Georgia CCR permitting program received partial approval from EPA in December of 2019. CCR regulations allow the owner and operator to close ash ponds by one of two methods. There's either closure in place with an engineered final cover system and/or closure by removal with surface restoration. McDonough AP1 is an inactive CCR surface impoundment. It stopped receiving CCR before October 19th of 2015. It still contained both CCR and liquids after October 19th of 2015, and Georgia Power notified EPD of its intent to close AP1 on December 7th of 2015. So at this time, I will turn the next portion of the presentation over to Keith Stevens, our Solid Waste Permitting Unit Manager, to discuss the pre- and post-closure conditions of the cover system.
Prior to initiating closure on McDonough AP1, the unit included a vegetative intermediate cover, which allowed for infiltration into the unit, a CCR thickness of approximately 50 feet, and that groundwater levels within the CCR range from approximately 0 to 18.6 feet. The area of saturated CCR was approximately 18.8 acres. Georgia Power's plans for closure of McDonough Ash Pond 1 include the following. To close in place of the unit using a closure turf final cover system, the installation of a subsurface perimeter barrier wall as an advanced engineering method to limit flow throughout the unit. This subsurface wall provides enhanced source control by effectively isolating CCR from the surrounding environment. It has a wall thickness of approximately 1.5 to 2 foot thick and a very low permeability of 1 times 10 to the minus 7 centimeters per second. The barrier wall will be installed on top of partially weathered rock at depths ranging from 8 to 75 feet with an average depth of 50 feet. Installation of the cover wall is anticipated to reduce CCR within groundwater by approximately 7 feet. The cover system includes several layers depicted here from top to bottom. There's a sand infill layer with armor fill or hydro binder to cement the sand in place. Closure turf, tufted carpet or tufted fiber layer, and then also a 40 mil low density polyethylene layer to limit infiltration. Construction of the engineered turf cover was completed in 2017. The next steps for closure at Plant McDonough's AP1 includes that the installation of the wall will begin within 24 months of final permit issuance, and closure construction will be complete with the installation of the subsurface barrier wall. At that point, post-closure care will start and will continue for at least 30 years and include maintenance of the cover system, maintenance of the groundwater monitoring system, and periodic groundwater monitoring and reporting. Future use is restricted at the unit to not disturb the final cover and monitoring systems. I will now turn the presentation to Beverly Tipton, who will speak more about the environmental monitoring requirements.
Thanks, Keith. Groundwater monitoring is required by state and federal regulations, specifically Georgia CCR Rule 391-3-4.10.6. An EPD-approved groundwater monitoring plan is required for the closure permit. Corrective action will be required if certain constituents, called Appendix 4 constituents, are detected statistically above the groundwater protection standards and no alternate source can be demonstrated. The Georgia Power website for Plant McDonough Ash Pond 1 is shown on this slide. More information about the groundwater monitoring network is that it must have upgradient and downgradient wells in the network. AP1 currently has 14 detection wells and 3 assessment wells. Groundwater monitoring wells must be maintained for the duration of the post-closure period. Any changes to the groundwater monitoring network must be approved by EPD and appropriate documentation submitted, such as decommissioning or abandonment of wells and installation of new wells. They must report groundwater results at least semi-annually. Now I will return this presentation back over to William Cook.
Thank you. So the draft permit for Plant McDonough AP1 contains 23 conditions, and some of those conditions include, and you can see in front of you, controlling access to the CCR ash ponds, conducting groundwater monitoring and reporting results, maintaining integrity and effectiveness of the final cover system and groundwater monitoring network, maintaining AEMs and provide semi-annual progress reports, conducting post-closure care for at least 30 years, maintaining publicly accessible internet site and records, maintaining financial assurance to ensure funds for maintenance and monitoring for those 30 years, and requiring corrective action when needed. So in summary, the draft permit to close AP1 in place with advanced engineering method meets the performance standards of the state CCR rules and the adopted federal CCR rules as well. There's comprehensive groundwater monitoring network and is sampled semi-annually to monitor groundwater quality at the unit. And there's, of course, the monitoring reports that are submitted to EPD. Post-closure care, as we've stated before, is at least 30 years and includes maintaining the cover system, the advanced engineering method, which is, again, the perimeter wall, and conducting groundwater monitoring and submitting the corresponding reports. So just for the next steps following this public meeting, EPD will evaluate verbal and written public comments. We'll respond to those public comments in writing. We will post responses to the comments on the EPD website, and EPD may make changes to the draft permit as appropriate, excuse me, and depending upon the comments that are received. So at this time, I would like to turn the meeting back over to our host, Tammy Buckley.
Thank you. We now invite participants to comment. As a reminder, please raise your hand to make a comment, *9 on your phone. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Written comments are welcome. Please send your written comments to epd.comments@dnr.ga.gov. Please put McDonough AP1 CCR permit in the subject line. The deadline for comments is 4:30 p.m. Monday, June 8th, 2026. The draft permit can be viewed at the EPD website at the 2 locations shown on screen. One is the coal ash information page, and it can also be viewed under the land announcements page, land branch public announcements. This meeting was advertised by contacting individuals with a known interest via the Environmental Protection Division's notification list and by posting the notice and associated materials onto EPD's website. Please note that today's meeting is not for the purpose of answering questions. This is a meeting to receive public comments on the proposed draft permit for Plant McDonough Ash Pond 1. So at today's meeting, it looks like we have 15 participants, and I'll just give you the housekeeping rules associated with commenting. If you have joined this meeting on the web platform, we ask that you take a moment to open the chat feature, which is available to click on once you hover over the top or bottom of your screen. Once the chat box is open on your screen, please indicate if you would like to make a comment during today's meeting by listing your name and affiliation. At this time, I'll take a minute to pause and allow those participants on the web conference platform to do this. Once you have the chat box open, please list your name and affiliation in the chat if you'd like to make a comment. Our co-host, or in this case, the EMU manager, Beverly, will call out the names of those who have indicated that they'd like to make a comment. Once your name is called, you may unmute your connection and make your comment. Okay, Beverly, do we have participants who would like to comment?
Yes, I see one so far. Chris Manganello from the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper. You may go ahead and state your comment, and you have 3 minutes.
Chris, we can't hear you. William, you may have, or whoever's acting as the
Can you all
host.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think there was an extra layer there. Great. Thanks very much. My name is Chris Manganello, Chattahoochee Riverkeepers Water Policy Director. Appreciate you all taking the time to provide this presentation today and the draft permit for public comment. We are still in the process of reviewing that comment, and we will be submitting formal comments in writing prior to the deadline that you have articulated. And I do also, I hope that the presentation that you have provided will be available or that I can reach out and request that because that would be helpful as I'm putting my comments together. So again, thank you all for your time today, and I will be submitting comments on behalf of Chattahoochee Riverkeeper in writing. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. The next commenter is Tyler Boyles from Georgia Power Company.
Tyler, we can't hear you if you're speaking.
Tyler, you can try unmute now in case you're still muted. We did click on allowing you to talk.
Okay. Can
There
you
you
hear
go.
me?
Yes.
All right,
Sure
good.
can.
Okay, appreciate it. Good evening. My name's Tyler Boyles, and I lead the Georgia Power Environmental Affairs team responsible for CCR permitting and compliance. I'd like to thank EPD for giving us the opportunity to provide comments on the proposed CCR permit for Plant McDonough Ash Pond 1, and thank you to those who are participating this evening. So Georgia is one of only a limited number of states approved by US EPA to manage its own CCR permitting program. And that approval reflects EPA's confidence in Georgia EPD's oversight and the regulation of ash pond closures. Plant McDonough has been a part of this community since the early 1940s. And in 2011, the plant was converted from coal to natural gas generating facility, and all of its ash ponds are being closed in accordance with state and federal requirements. Under EPA and Georgia EPD CCR rules, there are two approved methods of closure: closure in place and closure by removal. McDonough Ash Pond 1 is being closed in place using proven engineering methods that include the placement of an effective cover system, a subsurface barrier wall, an environmental monitoring system that complies with the performance standards required by the regulations. These proven engineering methods bolster the closure and enhance groundwater protection. Groundwater monitoring has been ongoing for years. The cover has been placed over the ash, and the construction of the subsurface barrier wall will begin following the final permit issuance. As we do today, we will continue to use third-party experts to perform our groundwater monitoring, and data from this monitoring will continue to be available on Georgia Power's website as well as reported to EPD. This monitoring and maintenance of the closed facility will continue for at least 30 years. EPD's done a thorough job evaluating the permit application leading to the issuance of this draft permit, which addresses both the federal and the state rules. In closing, Georgia Power takes our commitment to protection of the environment very seriously. Plant McDonough and our employees and retirees are all part of this community, and the safe, effective closure of Plant McDonough's Ash Pond 1 is an important part of our continued commitment. We appreciate the opportunity to provide these comments and look forward to obtaining the final permit from Georgia EPD. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. I don't see anybody else that has indicated they wanted to make a comment.
Okay, I'll proceed, and if anyone expresses an interest, we'll hear their comments. After we have heard all who have indicated that they'd like to make a comment on the web platform, I will then ask for those joining the meeting by phone to indicate whether they would like to make a comment by pressing *9 on their phone. Understand that we don't have any others. I will proceed. For those who press star 9, the co-host will call the last 4 digits of your phone number one at a time, and I'll unmute you so that you can give your name, affiliation, make your comment. So that everyone has an opportunity to speak today, I ask that each commenter be as brief and concise as possible. You'll also want to speak slowly and clearly so that others can hear you in the meeting and so that we can capture your comments in the recording. It sounds as though we've heard from our only commenters. If there are any additional comments, please list your name and affiliation in the chat at this time. There are no additional commenters on the web platform. And it seems there are no further commenters on the phone. So I will send it back to William to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Tammy. So again, thank you everyone for your attendance at this public meeting. We have now provided everyone who had indicated that they wish to make a comment today an opportunity to speak. EPD will consider these comments and all other relevant comments received throughout the public comment period that officially ends at 4:30 p.m. on Monday, June the 8th, 2026. Again, EPD is asking the public to submit comments by the close of business once again on Monday, June the 8th of 2026 to ensure their inclusion in EPD's final review of the proposed permit for Plant McDonough's Ash Pond 1 closure. So EPD does thank you for your interest in protecting Georgia's environment and your participation in this public meeting. The time is currently 6:21 p.m. and this meeting is now adjourned. Once again, thank you for attending.